What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the CaliKidOfficial Podcast. This is episode number 40, so let's get right into it. So this past week we had a whole bunch of music release. I wanted to get into some of these projects. So up first, we're going to talk about the Omarion The Kinection album. 12 songs, 34 minutes. It features Busy Signal, Wale, T-Pain, and Ghostface Killah. Personally, my favorites from this album was the song Mutual with Wale, the song Involved, Can You Hear Me, and No Complaints. And overall, I gave the project a 7 out of 12, which comes out to about 58%. Had some nice joints on there. It was some songs that I could have done without, like the B2K experience and in it. But overall, a nice effort put forth by him. He dropped some visuals for some of the songs already. I've done reactions to the song Involved, and he also debuted Mutual within that record as well. So yeah, if you guys haven't heard the album, be sure to check it out, see what you think of it for yourself. Moving on from that album into King Bong's album, Welcome to Old Block. But before we get into that album, some news just recently came out that he was involved in a shooting incident and he passed away from it. Based on the video that I saw, he got into some type of altercation outside of some club in Atlanta. It showed him punching on some dude, him and the guys with him. They were making their way past this white truck, and then that's when someone came around from the white truck and shot him and hit him in the lower torso region. And I'm guessing once they got him to the hospital, he died there. It said that 5 total people, I think, got shot. 2 died. One is in critical condition, and then the other 2, I think, survived their wounds as well. Like, the whole situation is unfortunate, but this is another example of why that street life is not something you should be playing with. Like, things like this is going to continue to keep happening if people keep getting involved in that lifestyle. There's only 2 outcomes from it. Either you're going to end up dead or you're going to end up in someone's prison. So it's unfortunate that this happened. And then you also have to look at what you put out into the world. It comes back on you. You can't be talking about the things you be talking about in these records and then not expect that energy to reciprocate and come back onto you. So, there's going to be more information coming out about this. So many rumors was put out there as to what had happened. At first, people were saying cops shot him, but then the video came out on World Star showing basically him involved in an altercation and how that played out. But it's sad, that something like that had to happen. Especially, he just put out a project too. This is kind of eerily similar to, well, I wouldn't say eerily similar, but kind of sort of the Pop Smoke. I mean, Pop Smoke was just coming up, and then, what happened to him happened. And then Von just put out this project. And it's crazy because he was just on this video with Akademiks, and he was constantly looking around and stuff, and then this happened. But getting into the album, it's 16 songs. It runs for 43 minutes. It features Polo G, Lil Durk, Prince J, Dreezy, Moneybagg Yo, and Fabio Foreign. My favorites from this project were Armed and Dangerous, Back Again, Can't Relate, Mad at You, I Am What I Am, Ride, How It Go, and Wayne's World. And once again, as I was saying earlier, you have to be careful with what you say and put out into the world. And on this album, he was talking about a lot of different situations and being reckless with his words. Like, he described a situation where somebody by the name of Melly got shot up, and he said that Melly got shot up in a party and started Harlem shaking. And so, you can't play with stuff like that because it'll come back on you. But pretty much, for the most part, he's a very interesting storyteller. Like when you listen to some of these records, it kind of feels as though you're there as the way he's rapping about it. But out of 16 records, I gave it 11 out of 16, which comes out to a 69%. So not too bad, not too bad for I think this is like his debut album. Because before, I think he was just putting out mixtapes and stuff. So, but you know, with this situation, the labels, they're going to profit off of his death. They're going to probably end up spamming a whole bunch of music to capitalize off of him passing. And, you know, people clicking on things with his name in there. So, you know how that goes. But only way that this type of thing isn't going to continue to happen is if the people that's involved, you know, in that lifestyle choose to stop. That's the only way things are going to change. And no matter how many people say, you know, stop doing this or stop doing that, it's up to the people that's actually involved in that to decide that they want to stop. But, you know, moving on from that, Queen Naija, she also dropped her debut album called Missunderstood. 18 songs, 50 minutes. It features Kiana Lady, Lil Durk, Lucky Day, Russ, Pretty V, Mulatto, Tusi, and Jacquees. And this was a very introspective album. I liked it. She touched upon a variety of different subjects, which I'm going to get into. On the record, Too Much to Say, she said, put makeup over my bruises and fake a smile. So basically, she was saying that she was in an abusive relationship with Chris Sales, and that was probably one of the reasons why they ended up going their separate ways. Then on this same record, she says, as a child, I was introduced to things that I shouldn't have been feeling. Oh no, I was introduced to things that I shouldn't have been. Feeling hot between the legs when I shouldn't have been. I ain't tell my mama because I didn't want the drama. 24 is still living with the trauma. Yeah, that's why you never see me laughing at nobody's pain. No matter how hard it gets, my heart will never change, never change. No matter how hard it gets, my heart will never change. So basically, she's saying that she was pretty much molested at a young age. That's crazy. That's a big burden for someone to carry. And she basically said that she didn't say anything because of the family drama. Because, you know, when accusations and stuff like that is brought up, it causes a divide and split. And then oftentimes, the child isn't believed because it's unfathomable for something like that to happen. But in a lot of cases, that do be the case of what be going on. And a lot of times, it do get swept under the rug. So, that right there, that's crazy. That's crazy. Then moving on into the record, Pack Light, she says, cause I work too hard, but I love you way more harder. I done had my share of being walked all over. Now I'm smarter. You can think I'm wrong all you want, but that truth got you so bothered. You can go ahead, puff up your chest, but it better not go no further. Ooh. So basically, she was saying that the person that she's in a relationship and was starting to show signs of not doing what they were supposed to do, and she's basically saying she's not going to put herself through that situation before because she's been there and done that. So if you're not going to change your actions, then, you know, you might as well just, you know, skedaddle pretty much. And this record samples, you know, Erykah Badu's one of Erykah Badu's songs. Then on the song Lie to Me, she uses the piano keys from a Blackstreet song called Don't Leave Me Girl. My personal favorites from this were Too Much to Say, Pack Light, Lie to Me, and Bitter. And I gave the album a 13 out of 18, which comes out to a 72%. So overall, you know, it's a pretty dope project. It's streaming and selling well. So, you know, shout out to her. She doing her thing. And if you guys haven't heard it, be sure to give it a listen. Moving on from that project, Trippie Redd dropped his album Pegasus. 26 songs, 1 hour, 15 minutes. Features, it's very feature heavy. We get features from Maya Lene, Young LB, Party Next Door, Chris Brown, Rich the Kid, Young Thug, Future, Quavo, Lil Mozzie, Busta Rhymes, Sean Kingston, Doughboy, Lil Wayne, Hoodie Baby, and Sway Lee. On the record, Let It Out, I like how the beat switches towards the end. I thought that was a pretty interesting tool to use on that record. My personal favorites were Let It Out, Excitement, Mood, Oomp's Revenge Part 2, and Don. Overall, the album for me was pretty bad. For me personally, I felt as though it was too much filler. It was way too many songs. He would have been better off cutting this album in half, and I gave it a 10 out of 26, which comes out to about a 39%. It's slated to move about 54,000 units or so, so, you know, I guess it's doing well. It depends on how much money, you know, the artist actually puts into the project. That's how you determine what a flop is. It's not really how many units you sell, it's how much money you put into the project versus how much money you getting back. So only he will know if it's a flop or not. So, but yeah, he should have cut this project in half. There was a lot of experimentation on here too, so, and then he's supposed to be dropping a whole bunch of different deluxes and stuff, so you know how that go. But moving on from that project, Busta Rhymes drops Extinction Level Event 2, The Wrath of God. So this is basically like a follow-up to the first one, which came out in the 90s. 22 songs. It runs for an hour and 18 minutes. This is very feature heavy as well. We get Chris Rock, Rakim, Pete Rock, MOP, Belle Biv DeVoe, Minister Louis Farrakhan is on here, basically giving like a monologue of sorts. Old Dirty Bastard, Q-Tip, Rick Ross, Anderson .Paak, Waka Flocka, Vibes Cartel. That was a surprise. Like there are some records on here that was surprises because it didn't show that artist's name on the song. You have to actually listen to it and look at the lyrics. But Rhapsody was on here, Mariah Carey, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J, and Nikki Greer. He uses the Can You Dig It speech from the Warriors movie, and Nas's Who World Is This on one of the records. There's the song Out of Mind samples Poison and uses the Don't This Shit Make Niggas Wanna Jump from his hit song Passive Cavassier Part 2, which that was big in the 2000s. And that was also on what was that movie? That movie with Nick Cannon, Love Don't Cost a Thing. But getting into the project on the record, the title record, Extinction Level 2, The Wrath of God, he says, every man is free of choice, but no man is free of consequences. Hold your suggestions and listen closely. I study lessons causing rain, hail, snow, and earthquake. In travel dimensions, the ground will rattle. The earth will rumble like a stampede of cattle. 1,120 feet per second, faster than sound travel. How many more protests? He's talking about the events going on within the U.S. 0 results is grotesque. Don't even get me started. Then count on my mama. She knows best. Fight for the dearly departed. God is the armor. We so blessed. Let's zoom in on a target from a certificate, a merit, down to a felony for one's action of these. Justices will reward a penalty. Pants too tight. Nigga, it's been part of the plan. Fool, they fucked around and made the demasculation of man cool. Yeah, he's talking about the agenda to make man feminine. And that's being pushed on society. And if you have something to say about it, they want to call you homophobic and stuff. So that's basically what he's talking about right here. How certain things is being pushed on society. Then he also says, fuck following trends, that don't make us man, is a recipe. That don't make us man is a recipe. Care for your women, your mother and children is necessity. In the last couple of years, you niggas look like you need therapy. Mentally, it appears as if the imbalance is chemically. How you gonna try to stop God's work? So basically, he's saying that people are trying to subvert nature and do away with what's natural and try to project unnatural things onto society and the masses, which is what's been going on for the better part of, the last, years or so, the last couple of decades or so. That's what's been going on. These trends and agendas being pushed on people. Those that pay attention understand what's going on. Those that don't, it is what it is. But moving on for that, we get the record Master Fard Muhammad, and it samples Meth and Redman's 2009 single Miss International. Very smooth track, very smooth. And him and Rick Ross float on this. This is like Rick Ross's bag. Those smooth, mellow tracks that you can just float on. So, but we also get Where I Belong is a flip of Mariah Carey's and Busta Rhymes' hit single I Know What You Want. So they basically try to recreate Magic again with this. I didn't really feel that track too much. We get the record Deep Thought, which samples Eric B. and Rakim's The Ghetto. We get the record Look Over Your Shoulder, which is the Kendrick feature, which both of them killed this record. It also uses MJ vocals from the song I'll Be There when he was with the Jackson 5. So this was a pretty dope record. So Busta, he says, shh, look over your shoulder, get me? Cause I done bodied the game to the point niggas scared to rap with me. Kept burning till they anointed me one of the kings of black history. And yes, I see the game is a little different. Niggas lack simply them bars, and I spin them like darts till they puncture your kidney. You trash, and it don't matter how much you gonna try to convince me. So basically he's saying he put in the work to be considered one of the best in hip hop, which I agree with that. He didn't put the work in. The wordplay, the bars has always been there. And his project was very well put together. Very well put together. And he's basically saying this is kind of like a dig at T.I. in a sense, because T.I. didn't want to battle him on the verses. So I think this is kind of like a dig at him, as well as other artists that's afraid to get on a record with him or whatever. But overall, my personal favorites from this project was Extinction Level Event 2, the intro. The actual self-title of the project, Extinction Level 2, The Wrath of God. Don't Go, Master Fard Muhammad, Oh No, Deep Thought, and Look Over Your Shoulder. Overall, I gave the project 15 out of 22, which comes out to a 68%. So, it was a pretty dope project. Most people might say it's too many songs, but when you've been away for so long, a lot of times artists have so much material that they don't want to leave certain things off, so they do what they do. But it was a pretty interesting project. So if you guys haven't listened to it, give it a listen and see what you think about it for yourselves. But that's going to pretty much do it for the music side. We're going to transition into sports, and Deontay Wilder has finally broken his silence in regards to the incident with Tyson Fury, where Tyson Fury is basically being accused of cheating by him. And this isn't the first time that a cheating accusation has come up. Klitschko has said something. His sparring partners has said something. So this is a repeat occurrence, and it's looking like this is going to get ugly. So let's see what he got to say.
The Bible tells us that silence is gold, but my ears can still hear and my eyes can still see. The Bible also tells us to be swift to hear and slow to speak. You see, what you don't understand, thief, what you did is what my people deal with all the time. Someone cheating them from providing their greatness into the world. But it's a burden that we cut off only to make us stronger. I saw in the first fight where Ricky Hatton was pulling down your gloves to put your fist in the improper position. Y'all tried the same method the second time, but this time you scratched flesh out of my ears, which caused my ears to bleed. It's impossible for a brand new 10-ounce glove to bend, to keep a smushed in form,
He cheated,
or to have loose space. highly believe you put something hard in
Ain't
your
no,
mouth.
it ain't supposed to
Something
do
the
that.
size and the shape of an egg weight. It's the reason why the side of my face swelled up in an egg weight form. And it left a dent in my face as well.
Yeah, that ain't caused by no punch.
You still couldn't keep this king down. You would have had to kill me. In the end, it took a crab in a bucket referee and a disloyal trainer to throw the towel in just to stop me. Proverbs the 6th chapter 30.
I mean, his trainer did also kind of save his life, so. But I understand.
From a thief who steals because he is starved. But if he is caught, he would have to pay back 7 times what he stole, even if he had to sell everything in his house. And payback is coming.
So yeah, this is gonna get ugly, as I said. You know how that go. Both sides have dug in. One side saying it's far-fetched. You know, the sports media ain't really reporting on it. And those that are don't believe that this is even possible, when in boxing situations like this have happened before. We had the Margarito situation, you know. We had the situation with who else got hit up like that? I can't even think of his name. So he's saying some more things. It says, it's time for you to be a man and honor your agreement. What is this bullshit of you fighting Carlos Takam instead of me? You got to be kidding. Because, yeah, there was a rematch within the contract, and basically he's trying not to honor it. So he would basically be in breach of the contract. I don't know if you can actually do that. He says, when that fight was a draw, I told you that I would give you a rematch. You know I was offered more money to fight Joshua than I was getting to fight you. Again, being a man of my word, I fought you like I said I would. So this is the part where people was trying to say that he was trying to duck Joshua, but no, he said that he was going to rematch Fury, then go on to Joshua, but things didn't work out that way. So that's, you know how that go. This is similar to the AJ situation. When AJ was supposed to fight Wilder, he ended up losing. And then at the end of the fight, he said, I wish it would have been Wilder. So pretty much similar situations in that sense. He says, in the rematch agreement, there was a rematch clause. Now that it's time for you to be a man and honor your word, instead of trying to weasel out of your agreement. Scared people run, but a scary man will break his contract. You coward ass be. So, yeah, this shit is crazy. So we're just gonna have to follow this and see, you know, what happens with that. But also in boxing, we got the Gervonta Davis undercard, which was pretty interesting. Every fight on the undercard, or I should say every fight on the card, ended up with either a KO or a TKO. And one of the bouts in particular, we had Mario Barrios versus Ryan Carl, and they were fighting for the WBA super lightweight title. This was a pretty interesting fight. I have to say that, you know, Ryan Carl, he put up a hell of a fight. And he went out like a warrior, but ultimately he was knocked out in round 6. And Mario ended up retaining his title and improved to a record of 26-0. It was a pretty interesting fight. I think once they clashed heads, it opened up this big old gash on Carl's head, and that pretty much depleted him in a sense. And that was pretty much it. He got clipped with a hit. And then, like, he keeled over and, you know, fell onto the canvas. But moving on for that into the main event, we got Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz. Very great fight. Gervonta was very reminiscent of Floyd Mayweather. He came out with Little Uzi Vert in a Mexican attire with the sombrero and everything. Similar to that of Floyd. Basically, this was his coming out party. You know, the match that's going to take him to the next level, similar to how when Floyd fought Oscar De La Hoya. So I thought that was pretty cool. But moving into the fight, Davis, he came in at 129 3/4 3/4 pounds. Santa Cruz came in at 129 and 1/2 pound. Round 1, I gave to Davis. And at the end of this round, Cruz had a cut on his face. Round 2, I gave to Cruz. Round 3, I gave to Davis. Round 4, I gave to Davis. Round 5, I gave to Davis. And then round 6 is when he caught Cruz with a flash uppercut KO and turned Cruz's lights out. And this match could have been worse because if Gervonta didn't change his gloves, because he had the grants on prior to coming to the ring, which those are the puncher's gloves, but he switched to winning, which gives you more padding. So he actually, in a sense, saved his life, because if you saw that hit, that shit was with mean intentions. But Cruz was able to get back up, and he was all smiles the next day after the fight, and they both congratulated each other, and it was an excellent fight put on by them. So that was pretty cool. Overall, Davis threw 227 punches. He landed 84. And or should I say, he threw 227 power punches and landed 84. And then Cruz threw 390 and landed 97. I think that's the total. No, that's the total punch count. Yeah, the total punch count was that. And then the judges had it 48-47. They had the first 2 rounds going to Cruz, which I don't understand how. And then they gave the last 3 to Davis. But it was a pretty dope event. So who knows who he's going to fight next. People want him to fight the guy that just beat Lomachenko. I forgot his name. But they want them to fight. The next, they also want him to possibly fight Ryan Garcia. Oh yeah, Teofimo Lopez, my bad. They want Davis and Teofimo Lopez to fight. If not that, Davis and Ryan Lopez. But I think the Teofimo fight would probably be the best one to make. Devin Haney, his name has been thrown in there. But yeah, that was pretty cool. But moving on from that, we get some news out of the UFC. So Adesanya is moving up to light heavyweight to face the champ for the belt, Blacowicz. So that should be interesting. It's also interesting that he decides to move up once John Jones leaves the division. And you got some people saying that he's kind of ducking in a sense by doing that. But you know how that go. But all I know is Blacowicz, he that Polish fighter, he got some power and he destroyed Reyes. So I don't know, Adesanya, we're gonna have to see some more tricks out of the bag, cause he gonna be trying to bring it. We just gonna have to see what happens with that. I know Adesanya is fast and all that, but there's gonna be a true test of his ability. He's gonna try to become a 2 division champion, similar to that of McGregor and Cormier and Amanda Nunes. So we just gonna have to see with that. And I think who else did that as well? The Olympic dude, the short Olympic dude, I forgot his name, but he's gonna be looking to try to make history with that. But moving on from that into basketball, so it's looking like they're going to be restarting the season in December, which I kind of think is stupid. Because normally they get about 3 months off, because usually the playoffs is over in June, and they pick back up again in September, August, September. But the playoffs ended in October, and they about to pick back up again towards the end of December. I don't think that's cool, but it says its plans to start December 22nd. The tentative plan is to include a 72-game schedule, so they're going to reduce it by 10 games. The players' representatives voted Thursday to support the notion of starting this season on December 22nd, the date that the league has been targeting in its talks about how and when to get teams back on the floor for a planned 72-game season. Among the primary matters to be determined, how much more escrow will be taken from players because of the shorter than usual season, and how the league and the players will navigate testing and other health and safety issues amid the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Yeah, that shit ain't going away no time soon. All that has to be worked out before the plans for next season truly become official. So it's looking like they're engaging in more negotiations, but the preliminary date is December 22nd. The NBA draft is scheduled for November 18th, and the plan presented to players and now approved by NBA team reps calls for the training camps to begin on the 1st of December. In actuality, all this is about money. All this is about money. Free agency will almost certainly have to be wedged between the draft and the start of those camps. The league year will have to open. Trades will have to become permissible again, and some players need to be presented with deadlines by which they will have to either accept or decline options for this coming season. The NBA wanted the December 22nd start date over a mid-January notion for many reasons, revenue being foremost among them. Of course, this is all about money. They don't care about these players' health and safety. This is all about money. A 72-game season by league estimates will allow for $500 million more in revenue a season of no more than 60 games. The mid-January option would have provided. Disgusting. Yeah, I don't like that. I really don't, but hey, that's what happens, you know, when you don't own your stuff. You're forced into doing things like that. But you know, I guess if the players is okay with it, then hey. But moving on for that into a bit of society news. So we get the return of club quarantine, and of course, you know, the powers that be did their damnedest to shut it down. They kept logging Tory offline. He had to keep switching accounts. It's clear that there's an agenda at work to basically try to end him pretty much. But we got a few guest appearances on there. DDG came on the live. Eliza Rain, we had some people in the comments. Akademiks. Drake was in the comments. When Drake was spotted in the comments, he dipped because I guess he didn't want to be seen, which, you know, I think that's fake. It's like, if you fuck with somebody, fuck with them. Don't shy away from them because they're involved in the situation. If that's your friend and your homie, you know, you gotta hold them down. Dirk was in the comments. Tyga, Paige Kennedy, Chris Sales, they cracked jokes on him about Queen Naija, talking about, Chris Sales said he want Queen Naija to get on here. Like, he still got his feelings for her, but, you know, you should have treated her better and she would have never, you know, moved on. But, you know, that's how it go when you don't treat people a certain way. But that's pretty much that. And then as far as the election, so everybody's like cracking jokes because Nevada is basically holding up the results of the election. Because Biden, he only needs 6 votes to become the next president, and Nevada holds 6 electoral votes, and Trump and his side is throwing fits and all that stuff because they know the walls are closing in on them. So you know how that goes. So the internet came with the memes and stuff. So right here it says, "U.S. you done counting yet?" And then they pulled up the
It's only my third day out here.
they pulled up the little Uzi Vert video when he came up to the ice cream truck, and it says, "On my way to Nevada to count the votes myself."
You guys are in a crisis. I'm on my way.
That's what was that show? The nurse lady show. I forgot what it was called. The British nurse lady. Or should I say, the houseworker. I forgot what her name was, but it used to be the show that came on with her. And it says, "Waiting on Nevada to determine the fate of this country's future. It's okay, Nevada. You go when you feel like it." Nevada ain't counting the votes like a sloth. And they stupid. And like the officials from there, they said they're concerned about their safety because people are getting upset and stuff. But it's inevitable that Biden's going to win. He's already pulled ahead in Georgia, and I think Pennsylvania. The Trump side has threatened lawsuits and all that, but it's not going to really matter because he's not going to have the votes regardless. There's going to be recounts and all that stuff, but he's not going to have the votes. Nevada needs her. Very crazy. Then they said they should get a little baby to count the votes because of the way he was counting his money. But yeah, you know how that go. The jokes be coming. But yeah. But anyways, that's going to pretty much do it for this week's podcast. I appreciate you all for tuning in. If you're listening on Anchor, Spotify, and everywhere else, I appreciate you all for tuning in to listen. If you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate you all as well. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And until the next one, peace.